that so-called modern science have set up for us, that those boundaries, we don't know what it is possible, because it's ultimately boils down to a matter of belief. Then in one way, if we believe that we can do anything, then that is basically the case. Then we can do anything. Is that the premise?
Yeah, and it's easier said than done. Because,
right. Of
all
course.
our theory, all our way of interpreting the world is interpreted in terms of these theories that we've been taught. And if you think of like the theory, like a tree with branches, we're the monkeys that cling to those branches, and we're afraid to let go because we don't see where to jump to. What I'm doing with subquantum kinetics is I've created another tree that's close enough that you can make the jump, and I've shown how you get from A to B. Subquantum kinetics is not just some crazy idea out of nowhere. It's based on systems concepts. I'm originally, besides studying physics, I'm a systems theorist. And I came to subquantum kinetics by understanding how systems in other fields of science work, like biological systems, social systems. And you find there's sort of general laws that apply to all systems in general. And only in physics have we gotten away from that, because physics is at a level that we can't see what's going on. So we just invented our own theories instead of in other fields of science where through experimentation we came to the truth. In physics, it's more difficult.
And you have, I reckon, there's obviously more information about this. I'm looking through more on your website right now, and there you have even a DVD presentation on Black Project UFO technology. And I guess what you're saying as well then is that you suspect that these might have been developed by various organizations and maybe even successfully flown out there.
Right. In my book, Secrets of Anti-Gravity Propulsion, in the first 4 or 5 chapters, I give you a historical overview with solid references, even some from common, well-respected media sources like Herald Tribune, Product Engineering, Newsweek, magazines like this, which talk about in the 50s of major aircraft companies studying what's called electrogravitics, that there's a connection between electricity and gravitation. And they were developing propulsion systems which would fall under an area which today is called field propulsion, the idea of using fields to propel craft. And from the 50s, the government actually put money into it, and then you found like sort of a blackout after around 58, 59. None of the media talked about it any longer. It went underground, and all that was done in secret. And probably the only plane that uses this technology that was at least acknowledged is the B-2 bomber. Mm-hmm. And in the book, I reverse engineer it and explain how it works.
Really, really interesting. Paul, there is obviously so much to touch upon, but just a few more points before we let you go here for this time. Unfortunately, we just have an hour for you with you this time. But is there anything you want to mention in terms of the Starburst Foundation? What is that about? Can you mention something quickly about that?
Well, the original purpose was to have a way where people could contribute money for research on galactic superwaves and also on subquantum kinetics. So people can actually go to the website at starburstfound.org and read about what we do there, and there's a place where you could contribute through a PayPal button. And one project, we also get funds from donors and through even standard scientific institutions. I'm planning a proposal now to analyze ice from Greenland to test this theory that the sun, a major solar flare, did kill the animals at that time, which it challenges the current theory that it was a comet, theory of Firestone et al.
Yeah.
And I believe the data more supports the solar theory.
And so what? How is that project going, and what's next in terms of developments on that?
Well, I have a paper that I've submitted. I'm waiting for to hear from the publisher about its acceptance, which sets forth the hypothesis. And the next step, I've put together a tentative group of scientists from different universities, and we'll work together to write the proposal. And so next steps, get the funding and then do the ice core analysis. I'm a little disappointed, actually, in the European community. They are very tight-fisted with their ice there in Copenhagen.
Yeah.
Almost like they want to save it for themselves in their own little laboratory there in Copenhagen.
Really?
At least they don't seem to have wanted to share with anyone based in Greece, which, I mean, we're part of the common market. And their reasons for denying the ice were illogical. So I've been forced to do a collaboration with U.S. scientists. I have dual citizenship, so I'm not only Greek, but I'm also U.S. citizen, which allows me to plan projects in the U.S. too. And unlike Europe, U.S. has no problems with providing ice for the project.
No, well, that's very bad to hear that. That's not good at all. And do you know why they've been so adamant about not sharing with you in terms of this?
Well, I don't know. I mean, it's sort of like, well, Greece didn't put money. There were some core countries like Germany, Denmark, maybe France, who put the money up for the drilling. But most of the money for those projects comes to pay the scientists to do the analysis, and that comes from everyone in Europe.
That's right.
Theoretically, they're supposed to share with everyone.
Yeah.
And they didn't come out and say it, but I had a feeling that, well, you know, because you didn't help, or you're associated with a country that is not on our committee, you're one notch down. And, you know, they initially I called up one of the people on the review board, you know, why did you deny the proposal? And he said, well, it didn't have anything to do with climate, that they save the money for climate research.
Oh, yeah, right.
So then I wrote back to him and I said, well, if you look at the part of the ice core and read my paper, one of the biggest climatic excursions of the entire ice age occurs just 3 years after this event.
Yeah.
And maybe this is the thing that really will open up an understanding of what causes major climatic change. And I didn't hear back from them.
Oh.
You know, and to this day, they haven't even sent me a denial letter. It's all been by phone. It's like they don't want to leave a track record of saying no.
Well, that's not good at all. I mean, are they even allowed to do that? They must respond to you, don't they?
They should, but they haven't.
Well,
you know, I'm sort of fed up with what's been going on here.
Yeah, I totally understand that.
Just objectively, I think that the European system for funding research is very complex. They require you to have at least 3 member countries participating on any given project, so it becomes extremely bureaucratic.
Oh, yeah. That's typical European Union in that sense, and it's very sad to hear that. And I reckon that we're going to get more of that as we progress, unfortunately, because that's where European Union is heading right now: bureaucracy and paperwork and rules and regulations. Mm-hmm. But again, then just to highlight the positive side of that, you have gotten no problem from the States then in terms of getting access to some of these ice core samples then, right?
Yeah. There the problem is to overcome biases. In general, I believe that in Europe, scientists are a little more open-minded to try something new, as opposed to the U.S. Scientists tend to lockstep, the more sheep there, you know, follow the leader type. Right. So the question is, will you get a fair review for your proposal?
Yeah. But this is in development then, I reckon. And is this particular paper, is this something also that you have up on your website, or do you plan to put it up there?
Oh, yeah, right. The paper's on the website.
Yeah.
If you go either to starburstfound.org or to etheric.com, I think you'll be putting both of those website links there, right, on your site. And the paper is called, I think it's SPE.pdf, or SPE stands for solar proton event. It's if you go to